You're listening to iCannabisRadio.com.
It's the John Doe Radio Show.
How much higher can you get?
Keeping it G ain't nothing. You ain't gotta like it cause the hood don't love it. You ain't gotta like it cause the hood don't love it. Watch a young nigga show his ass, I'm pumping. I got the whole block bumping. You ain't gotta like it cause the hood don't love it. You ain't gotta like it cause the hood don't love it. Watch a young nigga show his ass, I'm pumping. Nah, you know what this is. Tell them this is celebration, bitches. Where the barbecue pits and the mini bikes, mini skirts, Hennessy's and the Miller Lights, domino tables. Who got big six? Where I'm from, we do concrete backflips, flip fly back through the ghettos where I bring hip hop back. Real niggas love me, they tell me keep it pushing. The only niggas speak for Wayside and Central Bookings. County jails and them lockdowns up north. Said I should have it if Scarface passed the torch. That's how they feel, Jack. Look, this more than rap. This that project haircut in a quota sack. This is where Jose front you them quotas at. Meet your quota whenever I put a quote on the track. Nigga, keeping it G ain't nothing. You ain't gotta like it cause the hood don't love it. You ain't gotta like it cause the hood don't love it. Watch a young nigga show his ass, I'm pumping. I got the whole block bumping. You ain't gotta like it cause the hood don't love it. You ain't gotta like it cause the hood don't love it. Watch a young nigga show his ass, I'm pumping.
From Compton to Baltimore, I'ma kill it. I buy a Morgan the minute. The public house, the plastic couch of a Section 8 tenant. The Regal window is tinted. The air conditioner broke, but I'm cool enough to ensure you my ride is an Eskimo, huh? And I peel off in the midst of getting my thrills off, and I thrive off energy from inner cities that we lost, huh? I'm putting the ghetto on top of my back, and I live in the back of the jungle. Lions, tigers, bears, oh my. Hear the siren, walk up, drive by. Shooters, looters, federal fed intruders. Engines on back of scooters. The real can recognize real, and we need to know just who you are. You are in the presence of many presents. Kendrick, the gift for the future, or yeah, I said it. Thug life, good kid, mad city, mad respect, representing the hub right.
Keeping it G ain't nothing. You ain't gotta like it cause the hood don't love it. You ain't gotta like it cause the hood don't love it. Watch a young nigga show his ass, I'm pumping. I got the whole block bumping. You ain't gotta like it cause the hood don't love it. You ain't gotta like it cause the hood don't love it. Watch a young nigga show his ass, I'm pumping. The homegirls tell me I'm the shit. I break them off so they can buy them some outfits. I buy their sons a pack of Pampers, some new Jordans. Give them the game, school them on what's really important. That's how I was raised. The OGs had me 13, fresh off the porch, slinging cabbie. But I'm wiser now, showing my young niggas there's other ways to get them dollars and funds, nigga. Coming down in an old school, so cool. Whip like a fireball, call it go cool. You don't know the tribulations that we go through. Put your ears to the speakers, I'ma show you. I paint a picture so perfect. Hit my CD, you see Mona Lisa in person. Courtesy of 100 beat. Got my Crips and essays in arm reach. One West, one West, ain't nothing. You ain't gotta like it cause the hood don't love it. You ain't gotta like it cause the hood don't love it. Watch a young nigga show his ass, I'm pumping. I got the whole block bumping. You ain't gotta like it cause the hood don't love it. You ain't gotta like it cause the hood don't love it. Watch a young nigga show his ass, I'm pumping.
The human brain is made for thinking, not fumigated. It's hardly a tinker toy for experimenting. Not fuming with drugs.
Why do we talk about marijuana? It's the single biggest drug that is a source of some confusion.
This is really about educating the public about the fact that marijuana is a less harmful drug.
Marijuana, that's to get high.
You can be as high as you want.
The prohibition of marijuana over the last 71 years has not actually prevented you from using marijuana.
You feel weak.
I'm sure to winning the war on drugs.
I do believe there have been some successes.
We will never arrest our way out of this problem.
I'm out here trying to make it. Woman, can't you see? Takes a lot of money to make it. Let's talk truthfully.
joining us here on the John Doe Radio Show. Thank you for joining us on the John. God, I swear I'm going to kill somebody. Thank you very much for joining us on the John Doe Radio Show. I'm going to kill somebody inside this studio. It's going to happen eventually. You there?
Yeah, I don't know. No.
All right, go ahead, talk.
Hey, how you doing? It's not on.
Why is this switched around? I just checked this.
Gremlins.
I'm just going to mute you. It's the John Doe Radio Show. We're live Monday through Friday on iCannabisRadio.com. Thank you very much for hanging out with us. John Doe Radio on iCannabisRadio.com. It is a Friday. I don't know if I had mentioned that in the intro. Because it is a Friday, you know? You there?
I know, yeah. Yep, I'm here.
I don't understand why when we come in on days that they have a show before us, iCannabisRadio.com, last night there was a show, that everything is just completely farked up. I already sat down and I talked with Chris and Sam about this, and there is going to be a meeting, for sure.
When is the meeting?
I don't know. It's wanted it to happen Saturday, or sometime this weekend.
Get her done.
That honestly really ruined my whole mojo right there.
Well,
should we just start it over?
Go for it. You gotta play this song again, though.
I might just rewind this whole song completely.
Yep.
Actually, nope. Here we go. We're going to start it over right now. Welcome to the John Doe Radio Show. I am your host, John Doe, here doing it live with my man, Pike.
Woo, what's up? My mic works.
That feels 10 times better right there. Doesn't feel like I'm rolling in a big pile of dog shiz. Good times. It's Friday in the Mile High. Thank you very much for hanging out with us on the John Doe Radio Show. Bike, how are you feeling today?
Pretty high.
You feeling high?
Pretty high.
High as can be in the sun, you and me. We're high.
No sun, though. What the?
It is sunny outside.
No.
Quit whining about no sun.
It's sunny above the clouds. I get really used to the sunshine.
There's not that many clouds outside, dude.
Well, there sure are enough blocking the sun.
Today on the John Doe Radio Show, we were supposed to have Alex from Element 420 and Evo Lab to talk about some CO2 action and other awesomeness, but it doesn't look like we're going to have him today.
It looks exactly like we're not going to have him today.
And we're going to reschedule him for sometime next week. So that is what's going on today. We'll talk about news. And in fact, today, something interesting I ran across when I was up.
What did you do?
Abnormally early.
Hold on, I just needed to step in here.
Ran across. Shut up.
All right, thank you. I know it's not just me. I hear these things, and I need to be a pain in the ass like that. Like that.
Why don't you just ignore it?
Like that listener emailed you and said I'm a pain in the ass. Which means I'm doing a good job. I only got one listener pissed off so far.
One?
It's one bitching out
if
loud.
There's one, there's probably like 20 out there saying something. If one person says something, then there's usually quite a few more under the rock.
Read the email anonymously, please.
I don't have it, actually.
Well, we'll load it up.
I have to get it out.
All you got to do is open another tab.
You want me to read it?
Yes.
All right, let me try and find it here.
Please, thank you.
Are you sure you want me to read it?
Yes. See if I can figure out who it is.
You threw me an oil I was like trying to get some oil today, and dude was like, here's some Tums. And I was like, this is Tums. And he's like, don't let the box fool you. And I opened up the box, and sure enough, there was a dish of oil. I was happily surprised.
And now you're high.
I'm a little high. I just took one hit. I'm not as high as I would like to be on Friday.
Well,
not gonna lie. I don't want to read this whole thing. It's actually quite a long letter. Look.
Holy cow! It's all about me. Really? Let me read it.
No.
Go ahead.
I'm not gonna lie. May 6th show was a tough listen. I don't read every letter, by the way, that we get sent. This is funny.
May 6th, so 4 days ago.
It was a tough listen for me too. I had a really rough time with the May 6th show too.
You did personally?
I don't know. This week's been ridiculous.
Yeah.
I've been feeling a little bit sloth-like this week.
No sun.
It has nothing to do with the sun. All right, here.
Go ahead.
I've been a long time listener and was over the moon when the show came back. I hate to say it, but it seems like the more comfortable Bike gets on the show, the worse he is. Some shows are worse than others. I don't mind him when he's got an opinion to share, but other times it's obvious he hasn't done any prep for the show.
It's true.
Any show prep? Show prep? Does Bike do show prep ever?
Dabs.
That's his dab show prep. Sometimes I don't even do show prep. My show prep is coming here and hanging with you guys.
Yeah.
And his attempts at humor come off as obnoxious and even worse, obtrusive. See, I've thought that a few times too.
Okay.
It's one thing to be annoying at times, but it's another to actually hamper the purpose of the show by blocking information from getting out. When you go on one of your repetitive runs, act like a child. I say that when you act like a child.
Go on.
I.e., white light.
Yes.
Childish poop jokes or obsessing about something non-cannabis related not only derails the show, but actually blocks me from properly getting out information to the community. As someone who lives in a very canna-unfriendly area, you're one of the main sources of community news and info, and it's very frustrating. You should be ashamed of yourself, Bike.
Yes, go on. I'm listening.
For the first time ever, I actually turned the show off. They had to turn the show off, dude. While listening at work, they got so annoyed. Dude, I don't blame you. I have to turn the show off sometimes with you, dude. I have to like sit here and be like, click. Love what you do and hope JDR keeps going strong. Hope Bike finds his place in the show, which isn't to be pissing me off. That's what it says.
Yes.
Which isn't to be funny or pissing you off. Let's see here. You gotta up your prep. Gotta up it, or you gotta go.
Okay. Up it, or I gotta go.
Yep.
Wow, that's funny. There was a word phrase in there that totally gave away who that was. I know exactly who that was, and I just want to send them some white light.
Who? Do you know who it is?
Yes, I'm 101% positive I know who it is. There was a reference in there. Anyways, white light. Sorry. What's that?
You know who it is?
I mean, I don't need you expect to have a real email address. Anyway,
dude, I bet you that person is
white light to that person. And now I let you read the whole thing, and that's fine. I love to hear opinions, good or bad. It's more for comedy reasons than anything, because I'm a 40-year-old
you don't have to,
man going on 18. I'm not going to be changing or growing up anytime soon.
You are a child, my friend.
Yes.
You are a child.
Man boy.
Man-child.
Yes, whatever you want to say.
Don't let it shake
also,
you.
No, I'm not. But I want you to get out. Can you bring up the file with my job description, please, so we can read it to this listener?
I don't have a...
Can you pull that up, please?
I don't actually have anything that has your job description.
Oh! All right. That's all. Nothing further, Your Honor.
We could fix that, though.
Moving on. I mean, I'd be glad to look at what you can come up with.
Your job description is to entertain and inform, probably.
Okay.
Which should be your number one job description. You think you can handle that?
I can handle the opinion side of it. Show prep, I don't really know.
Wait. Actually, I got something for you. Let's put you on the spot.
Oh.
Oh. Is that quite... Nevada considers removing marijuana DUI provision from medical marijuana law.
Yes.
Come on, run with that. You had posted it up. You should be able to talk about it. You actually posted it to Warren's wall.
Yes. Why do you have a problem with that?
I don't have a problem with it. I'm just giving you an opportunity to be able to inform right now.
Yes, I was saying, look, other states can get by without it.
Do you want a second to pull it up and talk about it?
No, that's about all I had to say on it.
Damn it.
You gotta learn. You can't.
Trying to get you involved, okay?
I hear you, yeah, but you can't do it. You can't do it manipulatively or forcefully or like.
I'm opening it up to you right now. I'm saying,
but
hey,
that's all I have to say on that.
Jesus criminy. Some Nevada lawmakers say medical marijuana patients shouldn't be deemed impaired when driving just because they have small amounts of marijuana in their system. The idea sparked intense debate Tuesday when Assembly Majority Leader William Horn, Las Vegas. Dude, you know what? It's really bugging me that the show started off so shitty.
Nobody knows, though, until just then.
They're going to start listening and be like, oh, God, why is this happening all the time? This can't happen anymore.
Who's going to do that?
But the problem is, like, everything changes the second you start. Like, I mic check things, and then you start the show, and for some reason, something changes.
What did? The whole chemistry?
No, just the mechanics of everything. The knobs over here, they're right, and then something in the computer. It's just it bugged me. It's bugging me right now. Can't let that ever happen again. All right.
Well,
we're gonna give you directives to safeguard this.
It's hard to even talk to you before the show because you're so hungry. And
no, I'm doing show prep.
You don't have a headache today.
I'm actually
on top of doing show prep.
I'm actually like looking
You're
and reading.
Distracted, and it's tell me the truth. How many times have I said to you, "Hey Tim, blah 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 blah," and then stopped talking, waited for a response, and then 5 minutes later you said, "Like, I'm sorry, what did you say? I knew you said something. What?"
Maybe because I'm
does that
show
happen?
prep.
Okay, I'm just saying it's hard to get something through to you.
Yeah, but if it's like checking things like that, then we should double check it. Make sure that things are gravy.
Don't make me say it.
I hate having a crappy product for the listener.
Don't make me say it.
Don't say what?
I don't know how to run that stuff.
All right, well you can I'll give you. You just remind me.
How long did you going to give me a 2-year education, and how long is it going to take you to give me?
I'll just remind you to remind me to check things.
I would love to.
I'm putting a lockbox over a few of the knobs over here. That's for one thing.
Just take the knobs off.
That is a good idea. I don't think you can, though.
Or why don't you do it like you're running the soundboard for a concert and have a piece of tape next to the
I am going to do
thing
that.
and just be JDR and have a line next to it, and then Sexpot Radio and a line next to it, and Georgia and a line next to it.
I don't know how they have the level set where they have them set for other shows and still have it work. I would like to be schooled.
But you did notice that it goes back to the same
exact spot every time when I need to fix it.
There's a science to it. And can I have one of those Crunch Bars?
At least every time it's hooked up, and then it gets unhooked and then it resets. No, you can't have any of my food.
Just one Crunch Bar.
Fine, maybe one.
Yeah, that's all. Caught it with my wrist.
All right, back to Nevada.
Any more emails we can read?
I got emails talking about how awesome I am.
Well, let's read those too. Let's blow some smoke up your tuchus.
Under current law, drivers with a certain trace of marijuana in their blood are deemed impaired and are guilty of driving under the influence. The same concept applies to the blood alcohol content in drivers. The bill would remove the binding power of residual marijuana content for medical marijuana card holders. Prosecutors could still use blood tests to augment their case, but further proof would have to be provided to show the driver was actually impaired. I don't have a problem with the per se limits before being there for everybody else, Horn said. What I am saying is for a patient, those per se limits should not apply because we don't apply them to any other drug.
So if I interrupted you right now, it would be considered an information block like that guy was talking about.
If you have per se limits on... See, per se is that if you're found to be impaired, you're impaired. There's no way that you can go really argue it. You're guilty. If you're caught, you're guilty. You're impaired, you're impaired. How that's a fair way of doing things, I have absolutely no clue. And in fact, with cannabis, it's absolutely not fair. There's no science to prove enough that you are impaired at the levels that these places are mandating. Either having 0 nanograms in your blood. Wait, no, that's not right. 0 to 5 nanograms is the way I meant it.
Could you imagine passing?
Is basically having no having a no tolerance law. Having issues there.
Can you imagine pulling a 4 nanogram blood test, the cop having to let you go?
0.4?
A point, pulling a 4 nanogram, which is under the 5 nanogram limit.
See, the problem is that you're going to still... We have to have science to catch up with this situation because there's going to be too many people that are getting into trouble. There's just no possible way that... I mean, 5 nanograms or 15 nanograms, I think between that range, I don't think that there's really any science to show that you're impaired enough to be punished for it. I think resting level for a lot of people is at 15 nanograms or so.
The impairment level?
From the tests I've seen, your resting level, when you're not high, that's hours and hours after you've consumed cannabis, smoked it, whatever.
You're stagnant at 15?
That's what it's looking like the levels are.
Can we get our blood tested?
Yes, you can.
How?
Costs money, though. William Breathes had it done with the Westward.
Oh, yeah.
The per se limits, that's an issue. I mean, you can't just have per se limits for medical marijuana. I don't know. The only reason why they're doing this is because you can't use marijuana, period. So having a per se limit for people that aren't patients, they're justifying that by marijuana still being an illegal drug, which is still not right, but
regulating it like alcohol when they want to again.
The laws would be... I don't think that's the case. I think it's just that they want to keep punishing people for an illegal drug. The laws would be unaltered for users who do not have medical marijuana cards, causing Republicans on the committee to call it a double standard. This is making a policy statement that the threshold doesn't impair your ability to drive, said Senator Ben Kiekhefer. I don't know his last name. Kiekhefer. Kiekhefer.
Very, very well done.
From Reno. He added that if levels are not dangerous for driving, the per se limits should be applied evenly to recreational and medical users alike. Did you say recreational users?
And medical alike.
In Nevada. While supporters said the bill did not prevent prosecution, prosecutors contended that it makes it much more difficult. To prosecute a DUI case, prosecutors have to have 2 avenues: per se limits and proving impairments by driving behavior, witness statements, or a field sobriety test. Because marijuana impairment is a neurological issue primarily, unlike alcohol, signs cannot always be identified by officers' evaluations because users can focus and accomplish simple tasks such as driving straight when a police officer is behind them or passing a sobriety test. Said Brian Rutledge with the Clark County District Attorney's Office.
Go Nevada.
So here's the deal. Marijuana impairment is unlike alcohol. Its users can drive straight.
Oh, yeah.
Follow laws.
Pay
and
fines.
can accomplish simple tasks when under the use. So, there's no issue with... He just described no issue. Driving perfectly.
Perfectly good issue to... Reason to find people.
But it goes on to say, but evaluating complex situations and making the quick decisions necessary when driving is nearly impossible for those drivers. If that were the case, wouldn't we have like just piles of wrecked cars with stoned drivers in them all over the place.
Right next to the pile of...
It's impossible to drive while stoned, is what this guy is saying.
Well, we saw Fox News here locally get people to smoke and then videotape them and drive in and then edit it down so it looks like they couldn't drive.
That kind of happened a little bit.
Well, did you see the
Fox
actual video?
I mean, yeah, I saw that. Fox is not usually too horrible with us here, though. Because it's not really Fox that owns them. They just use the name.
What, Fox 31 in Denver?
Yeah.
Who owns
It's not
them?
owned by Fox Media Broadcasting. It's owned by... It's like a small...
Right, I understand that.
They just use the name.
Sure, but that still sucks that they're trying to make us
So
look
you can't,
bad.
like, necessarily lump them into the whole Fox...
Well, that's why I said Fox Denver.
It's actually kind of a... like... Democrat station. Liberal. Whatever you want to call Dem.
I don't...
Did you see what I did? Whatever you want to call
Dem.
them.
But
Man, I was looking at some cool glasses this morning that were done by some glass artists.
Where at?
So awesome. Online.
More specifically?
On Facebook.
Okay.
I saw a new glass company with Quave and a few other glass artists, man. We were just about to talk about them the other day.
Yeah.
How they had Quave had left Mothership or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the name of it, though. I can't remember the name of the company.
When are you going to have Death Star in?
Oh, yeah, I was thinking about those guys yesterday. They had that cool little Death Star piece they posted up yesterday. It was sandblasted. It was dark. Looked like the Death Star model of the Death Star. My brain is completely gone today.
Mm-hmm.
It's really not here at all. It is Friday. That's how we do on Friday.
What, this ridiculous thing?
What? Yeah, that thing right there. What do they call it? Does it have a name to it at all? No. Yeah, it'd be cool to get them in here and sit down and talk. He says, "My young Jedi warriors."
That thing is sick.
It is pretty awesome. It's like black glass blown into a spear. The Death Star logo in the side of it, and then it's like sandblasted. Craziness. So that batch 64 we got at Grow Your Own. Did I tell you that?
No, what about it?
Batch 64, we were talking about it the other day, that growing medium.
Yes, big old loaves of it.
Batch 64, it's got like cocoa in it. Not only is it just is it like a cocoa, chopped up cocoa, but it's got like fluffs. I can't remember exactly what the
Cocoa fluffs.
Cocoa fluffs in it. That's what we're gonna call them.
Yep.
And also, there's like these little like rice husks in it, which help promote the mycelium growth inside of your substrate. If you're adding your mycose, which there's also a little bit of mycose in it too. Obviously, if you get this batch 64 or really any other grow medium that has mycose in it, you're gonna want to add your own, because it's probably not gonna have enough.
Well, duh.
For you to be able to have it be useful. So you're gonna want to inoculate it. But this batch 64, it looks really light, and it looks like something that I would love to use. And if you use like basement mix, it's like a way better basement mix. It looks like. Looks like. How many times can I say looks like? Lots of people use basement mix, and this pretty much is like kind of the same thing, but it's got like yucca extract in it, and something like extract and infuse it or something like that over like 2 months. So, which helps promote growth with your plants and good root structure. So
When
that's
the
why it's
dirt's
good. Healthy
alive.
plants. Huh?
When the dirt's alive.
Yes. See, even Bike knows.
I know.
Get your dirt living. So I am extremely anxious to be able to try it. I mean, when it came into the store, actually one of the reps was in the store, and he sat down with us, and we were just chatting with him back and forth.
Hey, have a seat here. Let's talk about this dirt.
Yeah, exactly. Let's talk about dirt. And anyway, got me super excited. I was a little bit giddy. I saw a picture of it here. That's why it made me mention it. Working over there is bad for the grower who's trying not to grow necessarily. Just makes you, that's all you want to do is just grow all day. Lots of people gonna have fun with brand new recreational grows. Coming up here. Another thing that happened here in Colorado is that we restructured all of our drug felonies and misdemeanors. So from now on, or from October 31st, I am not here today at all.
Who isn't?
Starting from October 1st this year, everything is now under drugs, listed under DFs, DF 1 through 4, and M. Is it DF? And then it's...
Careful with that yucca extract. They're a flushing agent. They're a flushing agent, too.
The yucca extract?
According to Ty Stick.
Wait, what is Ty saying?
Ty Stick says,
I trust Ty.
Careful with careful with yucca extract. They're a flushing agent, too.
Explain more to me about that there, Mr. Ty. When he DM and Jesus Christ.
Sledgehammer. Are you reading along?
You're not helping me today at all.
When do I?
DF and DM.
Sledgehammer is a yucca extract. He says.
Drug misdemeanor and drug felonies. Sledgehammer?
Sledgehammer is a yucca extract.
We don't carry that, I don't think. I don't think I've even heard of that.
You just don't want to be feeding and flushing at the same time.
No, I know you don't want to be feeding and flushing at the same time. But at the same time, the yucca promotes the healthy growth of your microorganisms, from what I understand. Let's see here. For plants. Today is a Friday, why not? Let's
Friday.
Let's get into just a little bit of growing. Liquid yucca extract. Healthy soil requires many things. Water is one of the most important. Without water, some soils are... Oh, okay, that's what it is. I'm glad that we sit down and we learn things a lot of the time if we don't know what the hell we're talking about here. Liquid yucca extract, which they're talking about here, 100% natural wetting agent. Cold pressed. As a wetting agent, yucca extract can be added to almost any liquid fertilizer mix as part of an overall fertilization program. That's probably why that mix of soil has the yucca extract in it, because it's extremely light, and I can see that. I could see how you would need to, keep a little bit of a moisture action into this soil, give it a little bit of a more boost. So we were talking about the restructuring of all of the drug felonies and drug misdemeanors here in Colorado, and there's a specific section in this bill, which this bill is like 80 pages long, and this was passed in the Colorado legislature. So as of October 1st, everything in Colorado is changing. Everything. I mean, felonies, there's no longer... there's no longer the felonies as you knew it. So if you get a felony for possession, you get a felony for distribution. It's like classes. instead of like, F1 felony.
Say again now.
The felonies that we had before, you remember how they went? You don't remember. We have felonies.
I don't have one.
God damn it. You're awesome, dude, sometimes.
Well,
you have felonies. First degree felony. Second degree felony.
Okay, yes.
First degree felony.
F1,
Fifth degree felony.
F2, F3, F4, F5.
Yes. It's no longer like that with drugs. You now have classes. So, drug felony 1. Drug felony 2. You got that?
Yes. So now...
Although the thing is, in here, I think it lists marijuana. I think Warren might come in and hang out with us at the top of the hour for a minute if he gets the chance. And I think he was looking over this a little bit. But one thing that was like concerning me was that the marijuana sentencing, the marijuana rules in here, look like they... Ah, damn it, I had the camera on you again. Look like they're completely changed. And it looks like they're working with people a little bit more as far as not sending you to prison for drug felonies. I mean, you have to go through some drug classes and rehabilitation, and you have to like use like 3 or 4 roads of trying to rehab yourself before they're going to throw you into prison anymore in Colorado, which is the deal. But still, it looks like the decriminalization that we did here in Colorado, not legalization, not even medical marijuana, just wipe that whole idea across the board. But as far as like decrimming marijuana completely, I don't quite understand how this works in with it, because some of these, the way that it's structured and the way that it says some of these things, it looks like an ounce or under, even giving it to someone could possibly still get you into some shiz. So I don't know. We'll talk about that when Warren comes in here. There's a specific section in this that talks about marijuana.
I hope so.
Actually outlines the rules for marijuana. Marijuana has its own marijuana and marijuana concentrate has its own specific section. Here it is. Offenses relating to marijuana and marijuana concentrate. Check this out.
Yes.
The sale and transfer of dispensing more than 2.5 pounds of marijuana or more than 1 pound of marijuana concentrate.
Just a pound?
Where did you get just a pound?
Well, 1 pound of marijuana concentrate is what you said. The last sentence you said is what I was referencing.
I thought you were too quick for that. I didn't realize that I'd said that quite yet.
The
sale and transfer of dispensing of more transfer or dispensing of more than 2 1/2 pounds of marijuana or more than 1 pound of marijuana concentrate.
Just 1 pound? Now you see my angle of why I was saying just 1 pound? Because that's a lot of oil.
To a minor.
What?
If the person is an adult and 2 years older than the minor. That's how crazy this shit is.
What? Say that one more time slowly.
That's why shush and listen the whole thing.
I'm shush.
The sale, transfer, or dispensing of more than 2.5 pounds of marijuana or more than 1 pound of concentrate to a minor if the person is an adult and 2 years older than the minor is a level 1 drug felony subject to the mandatory sentencing and provisions in section 18.
Which is?
I don't know. That's what I was trying to figure out earlier.
So don't sell pounds to minors. That's what they're really trying to discourage.
Well, that's a man. Hold on. The sale, transfer, or dispensing of more than 6 ounces, but not more than 2 1/2 pounds of marijuana, or more than 3 ounces, but not more than 1 pound of marijuana concentrate to a minor if the person is an adult.
Ooh.
And 2 years older than the minor is a level 2 drug felony. This is ridiculous, dude.
Yes. Yes.
It is unlawful for a person to knowingly process or manufacture any marijuana or marijuana concentrate or knowingly allow to be processed or manufactured on land owned, occupied, or controlled by him or her any marijuana or marijuana concentrate except as authorized pursuant to Part 1 of Article 42. What the hell is this? I've not had I've not had a difficult time before reading laws. But I'll tell you right now, this shiz is ridiculous,
Yes,
man. I tried read through it. I tried reading through it earlier today quite a bit, and I seriously don't understand this shit. None of it, dude. The only part that I understand is they're trying to make it easier for people to not go to prison, but there's like all these little provisions now. Like a ton of them. A level 1 drug felony is subject to mandatory sentencing if the amount of marijuana is more than 50 pounds or the amount of marijuana concentrate is more than 25 pounds. So 50 pounds class 1 felony, 25 pounds for concentrate. Dude, they separated concentrate out. Concentrates
and 1.5 more times.
Double the marijuana concentrate has an enhancer to it.
It does.
That it has less. You can have less of it. That's the enhancer. A level 2 drug felony if the amount of marijuana is more than 5 pounds but not more than 50 pounds.
Yes.
Can you say more than one word?
White light.
Because, dude.
That was 2.
You do distract me sometimes.
Well, I just can't believe it, and I'm building up the anticipation. I can't believe what you're about to say here.
This just cracks me up. A level 2 drug felony if the amount of marijuana is more than 5 pounds but not more than 50 pounds, or the amount of marijuana concentrate is more than 2.5 pounds but not more than 25 pounds. So between 5 pounds and 50 pounds is a level 2 drug felony for marijuana. For flour.
So they say flowers in there?
No. Oh. Concentrate is what concentrate and marijuana. They actually spell marijuana right too. A level 3 drug felony if the amount is more than 12 ounces but not more than 5 pounds of marijuana, or more than 6 ounces but no more than 2.5 pounds of concentrate. Level 4 drug felony if the amount is more than 4 ounces but no more than 12 ounces of marijuana. See, wait a second here, dude.
Holding.
This is ridiculous. A level 1 drug misdemeanor if the amount is not more than 4 ounces of marijuana or not more than 2 ounces of marijuana concentrate. So a misdemeanor, you can possess 4 ounces of pot. You can have a 1/4 pound of pot, and it's a misdemeanor. And then it moves up to a felony once you go above 4 ounces.
Oh. Keeping it low.
So that's bullshit. Dude, that's bullshit. I don't like that because 8 ounces or more, my felony, was no longer a felony for a couple years there. This makes 4 ounces or more a felony again.
Can't make up their mind.
That kind of sucks. Oh, then that kind of knocks me out again.
See?
Possession of 8 ounces or more is my felony, so this knocks me out possibly again from owning a dispensary for another 5 years.
Well, start saving your money.
What kind of crap is this? This is ridiculous. I don't like this idea here. Level 1 drug misdemeanor. Unlawful for a person to knowingly cultivate, grow, or produce marijuana plant, or knowingly allow a plant to be cultivated, grown, or produced on land that the person owns, occupies, or controls. A person who violates the provision commits a level 3 drug felony if the offense involves more than 30 plants. A level 4 drug felony if the offense involves more than 6 but not more than 30. A level 1 drug misdemeanor if the plant involves if it involves more than 6 plants. A person who possesses more than 12 ounces of marijuana or more than 3 ounces of marijuana concentrate commits a level 4 drug felony. A person who possesses more than 6 ounces of marijuana but not more than 12 ounces of marijuana. This is ridiculous. This is like 4 or 5 different levels of like, I don't get it. I really don't.
4 or 5 different levels of ridiculousness.
More than 12 ounces of marijuana. It doesn't make any sense to me. A person who possesses more than 2 ounces of marijuana but not more than 6 ounces commits a misdemeanor. I mean...
What?
See, this doesn't make any sense.
To somebody it does.
A person who possesses more than 2 ounces of marijuana but not more than 6 ounces of marijuana commits a level 2 drug misdemeanor. So I just read you before. Is not more than 4 ounces. I don't get it, dude.
6 is more than 4.
I don't get it. It says an E here, level 1 drug misdemeanor, if the amount is not more than 4 ounces. And then down here, it says a person who possesses more than 6 ounces of marijuana but not more than 12 is a misdemeanor.
Uh-huh.
This doesn't make any damn sense to me at all. A person who possesses not more than 2 ounces of marijuana commits a petty drug offense.
This is that bed I was talking about that puts me to sleep about this time every day.
Well, good. Have fun with it. Falling asleep. A drug petty offense, and upon conviction, therefore, shall be punished by a fine of not more than $100. Well, we legalize shit here. How the hell is that possible? It possesses no more. So if you possess an ounce, it's legal. If you have 2 ounces, it's a $100 fine. I'm glad we sit in a lawyer's office. I don't even know why I'm trying to even go over this right now.
Yeah.
Let's just have Warren sit down and go over every last bit of it. Usually I can read through things pretty easily and understand what they're trying to talk about. But this has like 5-6 different ways to put things. It even lays out how you are to be treated after being arrested for marijuana. Like your sentence date specified in the notice of the summons to be appear at least 7 days after the arrest or detention unless the person arrested or detained demands an earlier hearing. Place specified under the... Damn. A person who openly and publicly displays, consumes, or uses 2 ounces or less of marijuana commits a drug petty offense, and upon conviction thereof shall be punished by a fine of up to $100 and up to 24 hours community service.
Was one of those verbs you just said uses?
Openly and publicly displays, consumes, or uses.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep. Open and public display, consumption, or use of more than 2 ounces of marijuana or any amount of marijuana concentrate is deemed possession, and violations shall be punished as provided in the subsection. So if you have a 2 ounce plus doobie, it's no longer a petty offense, it's possession.
You're effed. Start rolling pinners like ounce joints.
Transferring or dispensing not more than 2 ounces of marijuana from one person to another for no consideration is a drug petty offense and is not deemed dispensing or sale thereof. That's not possible. That is possible because it's 2 ounces. The provisions of this section do not apply to any person who possesses, uses, prescribes, dispenses, or administers any drug classified under Group C guidelines of the National Cancer Institute as amended, approved by the Federal Food and Drug... What? See what legalization did? It just muddied everything. No, this would have happened either way, if we had legalization or not. This doesn't even apply to even legalization. Doesn't even look like applies to above legalization amounts. Unlawful use and possession of synthetic cannabinoids or salvia.
Ooh.
A person who violates...
Death, right?
Let's see.
We have the death penalty in Colorado?
We do.
Nice.
Notwithstanding, blah, 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 unlawful use of marijuana in a detention facility. Let's see here. Dispensing, selling, distributing any amount of any synthetic cannabinoid or salvia commits a level 2 drug felony. A person confined to a detention facility in the state who possesses or uses up to 8 ounces of marijuana commits
If you use
a level
up to
1
a half pound.
It's a misdemeanor. Dude, it's a misdemeanor to... What? Any person confined in any detention facility in the state who possesses or uses up to 8 ounces of marijuana commits a misdemeanor?
If you're locked up and you smoke a half pound, it's just a misdemeanor.
If you're locked up and you possess up to 8 ounces of marijuana,
They're pretty much like, go ahead, we dare you. What? Probably get away with it.
That don't make this. None of this makes any sense to me. And then there's like 5 pages of crossed out rules, of like crossed out law, like where they've just wiped out everything. I don't know how this is freaking possible, dude. So it's a misdemeanor to use weed in a detention facility.
Not too shabby.
I swear to gosh. Dude, if I ever get arrested again, I'm not letting the cop take weed on me. I will be like, I'm taking it into the facility.
Yeah, you can lock me up after you catch me smoking it.
Yeah. Are you sure you want to look there, officer?
Shizzy weed.
Dude, it's a felony to bring drugs, any Schedule 1 drug into a detention facility. I don't know how this works. How does any of this law, I don't get how any of this works.
Excuse me.
You all right there?
Yes. You?
All right. All right, I guess we should move on. We've kind of
beating a dead
been
seahorse.
on that for a minute. The bottom line is that everything's changed from here on out. So I think the most that you can get for a misdemeanor under all these rules, minimum sentence 6 months, maximum sentence 18 months, $500 fine, $5,000, $500 to $5,000 fine for the misdemeanor there. And then for the felony, it looks like presumptive felony range 8 years, or presumptive range is 8 to 32 years with a 3-year parole, which then that 32 years is the highest mark in here by far for a drug felony 1. So it's 8 to 32 years, and then it drops down for a drug felony 2, 4 years, 4 to 8 years. And then 3, drug felony 2 to 4 years, drug felony 4, 6 months, and then a year. And then aggravated range is drug felony 2, 8 years to 16 years, drug felony 3, 4 years to 6 years, drug felony 4, 1 year to 2 years. And by the way, you can maximum sentence for a drug felony in Colorado is $1 million, or maximum penalty for monetary value. I paid like $4,000 in fines.
What? Where does that money go?
Busting other people.
Yeah.
There's a drug offender surcharge that they used to have in Colorado. I don't know if this changes anything in here. This is like 80 pages long. This thing is as long as the framework for Colorado's marijuana bill. That's pretty damn ridiculous. 80 pages here. All right. Well, Warren will fill us in on what's going on with all this, because this is going to change quite a bit of how things happen here in Colorado. So it's craziness. All right, you got anything, dude?
Not weed related, no.
Well, then what do you have that's not weed related?
It's a story about why bread has heels.
I don't know why I asked. A story about why bread has heels.
Yeah, you know, a crust.
Yeah. I don't think I want to know, dude.
because they have to.
All right, I'm going to come back with some news here, and then Warren will probably be joining us here at some point in time. It's a Friday on the John Doe Radio Show. Check us out, johndoeradio.com. You can also watch video at iCannabisRadio.com. We're going to step it up here, get some news. This is the John Doe Radio Show.
John Doe Radio. The National Cannabis Industry Association would like to thank its members who represent the leading professional businesses in America's emerging legal cannabis market. NCIA is the only organization that has unified legitimate cannabis businesses across the nation to fight for real reform in Washington, D.C. For more information or to make your business a member, visit us online at thecannabisindustry.org. Green Faith Ministry is for spiritual guidance, MMJ information, and networking combined with compassionate care on the way to enlightenment with all Green Faith sacraments. Green Faith provides charity assistance, including medical and food throughout the year. Contact them at greenfaithministry.com.
California. You're hanging with us on the John Doe Radio Show. It's Friday in the Mile High City. It's probably Friday wherever you're at. It's my Friday.
You're off today.
I am off today. Actually, it'd be my Saturday, actually. Wouldn't it? Because I had to work yesterday. Yesterday was my Friday.
Yeah. Last night.
I was wrong.
Get out and go out and get drunk on Thursday nights and not have to worry about it again until Sunday morning.
Regulation of medical marijuana in Los Angeles is a mess and has been ever since Proposition 215 was approved by California voters in 1996, says the LA Times editorial board. Repeated state and city efforts to bring the chaotic situation under control have had little effect. A move by the city council in 2007 to register medical marijuana dispensaries, for instance, led instead to an unexpected I told myself I was not going to stumble over the word proliferation. An attempt to limit them in 2010 drew 66 lawsuits and a court-ordered injunction. An ordinance to ban them outright in 2012 was quickly repealed after marijuana businesses gathered enough signatures for a referendum to overturn the measure. Court decisions designed to clarify the murky laws have instead contradicted one another. Today, there is an estimated 850 dispensaries, or maybe it's 1,000 or 1,600. No one seems sure, operating in Los Angeles, despite the city's position that they're illegal. Everyone knows that medical marijuana can easily be obtained by recreational users who aren't truly sick. I refer back to my statement of all use is medical use. The medicine, they put in quotations here, is not monitored by the government for potential health or safety problems. The dispensaries, by many accounts, are not nonprofit collectives as the state law requires. Although it's not really clear what a nonprofit collective is or isn't, residents in some neighborhoods complain that they are being overrun by dispensaries and that many pot shops serve as hubs for crime. I would question whether or not they would be served as hubs for crime. A mess, like we said, and on May 21st... What?
I said... in regards to pot shop being used as a hub for crime.
And on May 21st, Angelinos... Is that how you say it, the Los Angeles people? Angelinos?
Yes.
Angelinos will have the opportunity to muck it up even further if they're not careful. On the ballot will not be one or two, but three competing marijuana initiatives measured D, E, and F. It would be easy enough to urge a no vote on all three and to call on the city to impose a full-scale ban instead. After all, the Times opposed Proposition 215 from the outset, partly because it was sloppily written and partly because it set up an inevitable conflict with the federal government, which continues to classify marijuana as illegal and dangerous. But voting no solves nothing. The people of Los Angeles, like the people of California, overwhelmingly support making medical marijuana available to cancer patients, glaucoma sufferers, and others. A ban would be unlikely to pass, and besides denying marijuana to truly sick patients who can benefit from it would be a step backward. Given that, and given that the status quo is entirely unacceptable, the city's best hope is to try and carry out the will of the voters with minimal confusion and maximum control to ensure that medical marijuana remains accessible to those who need it. Going over the measures. Measure D will come closest to accomplishing this goal, says the Los Angeles Times, or at least will put us on the right road. Most important, it will impose limits on the number of marijuana businesses in the city, allowing about 135 dispensaries to remain open. This sounds like they've already tried this, dude. And everybody said, go fart yourself. Those that were operating and registered under city laws in 2007 and that sought to re-register in 2011. Limits are essential. Even people who support easy access medical cannabis can see that there needs to be rules and oversight, as with bars and liquor stores, but resources are limited and the city can't police an infinite number of establishments. Measure D is backed by both mayoral candidates and the current city attorney and his challenger. It applies to any organization of 4 or more people who cultivate, process, distribute, or give away medical marijuana. It hikes the gross receipts tax on their operations to $60 per $1,000 of gross receipts and establishes the distances they must keep from schools, parks, one another, and residential neighborhoods. It sets hours. They must be closed between 8 and 10 a.m. or 8 p.m. and 10 a.m. See, that's a stupid idea. I hate that idea. We have that here in Colorado.
Yeah.
Dispensaries have to be, what is it, 8? Is it 8 o'clock?
8 to 7.
8 to 7 in the morning.
8 a.m. to 7 p.m.
8 a.m. to 7 p.m. is all they're allowed to be open?
Yes. Very few open at 8, but some do.
I mean, it should be. They should be allowed to be 24 hours. It's ridiculous that they're not.
I remember when there was a 24-hour dispensary 4 or 5 years ago.
There were a few of them. There were also delivery services and stuff.
I saw one of the business cards from one of the delivery services.
And prohibits the consumption of marijuana on the premises and requires background checks on managers, among other provisions. By the way, that Warren's looking for the... He gave me such an evil look. He gave me such an evil look there. Damn. I don't want to be looked at like that ever again. Where was I at? Damn it, I forgot what I was saying there. Evil! Oh yeah, inside the framework for Amendment 64, it specifically says that you cannot smoke or consume cannabis on any licensed premises.
Meaning?
I mean, you can't at a grow, the stores once they open. If you have an extract license in the facility you're extracting in, you can't consume. It's just no consumption, on-site consumption at all. Which is pretty much the same thing for liquor stores here in Colorado. You can't really drink in liquor stores unless they get a permit to hold like tastings and stuff like that. So, which they do. Which is insane to me. If you're worried about people leaving a place driving high, like why the hell would you even at all not be up in arms about the fact that freaking liquor stores allow on-site consumption with special permits? And really, I think it's only wine that you can do this with. I'm not sure, though. Wine and beer, maybe? Not exactly sure the rules on that. But that seems nuts to me. Like, insanity. Requires background checks on managers, among other provisions. It is far from perfect. For one thing, it is somewhat arbitrary. Why should a handful of dispensaries that got in under the wire in 2007 be the ones that now get to stay open? There's no reason to think those particular establishments are more responsible than any other. For example, if it's passed, the city would be required to close hundreds of existing dispensaries, which could prove difficult legally and practically, because they've already tried this. It doesn't work. Here's another thing. Measure D doesn't create a process for a new dispensary to open when one of the 135 closes. That seems like an unfortunate oversight. Yeah. Wouldn't that be like if they all close like 20 years from now, they all
Whoops.
None of them could stay in business and there's no dispensary allowed in Los Angeles at all, period. That would suck.
You familiar with Measure Z?
I am not familiar with Measure Z. What would Measure Z be, my friend?
Measure Z is a little bit of a download thing they got going on in California.
Oh, yeah. Tell us about it.
They do something there that we can't do here yet. They have underground smoking clubs in California where you can go in, buy some weed, buy some hash, smoke it there, chill out, play some pinball.
I've seen a few of those. I saw a
But they're
video.
quasi-legal under the Measure Z. And I actually know a guy who owns one, and we could probably have him on to chat.
Measure Z. So you were actually being serious. I don't think I've ever...
Yes, I'm 100%.
I don't think I've heard of
serious.
Measure Z.
Yep.
Interesting.
In the Bay Area.
Interesting. Yeah, I know there's like clubs and stuff that people can go smoke at. I've seen a few, what are those videos? The
YouTube?
Harlem Shake videos.
Oh, I don't know what that means.
Why don't you put your phone away there, buddy?
Sure, yeah.
You don't need your phone right now.
I was just turning it off because it vibrated.
Let's see, we were on a Measure D, talking about if they close.
Measure D is nuts.
It would. It says here this Measure D can't be amended or repealed by the city council without requiring an additional vote of the people. Still, Measure D is the best of the bunch. Measure F, in contrast, sets no limits. It includes some strong rules and protections, in some cases stronger than those in D, but the city simply can't sustain an unlimited number of dispensaries. I say, why not?
Exactly.
Supporters of F say there would be de facto limits as a result of the requirements about how close dispensaries could be to schools, parks, and one another, and that the final number would be in the hundreds. But what guarantee is there? Certainly nothing in the law. As for Measure E, ignore it, they say.
Ignore it.
Ignore it. That measure would become moot after its supporters agreed to throw their support to Measure D. No matter what you think of medical marijuana, it's hard to deny that the implementation of Prop 215 has been unsuccessful. I would say... I don't know, man. Every time I say that something's successful in California, I think of how many federal raids they've had.
Daily.
It's been successful. I mean, California has brought medical marijuana to quite a few states. The idea that they brought forward and the grounds
They're bringing medical marijuana to other states every day.
The ground that they... Well, I mean, I think every state together now is kind of like holding hands, you know. It's like one of those... It's like a kumbaya moment right now. So many states binded together. They're all sort of working as one. So I think California has been successful with having marijuana be something that you know is easily to obtain. You know, you're not punished that much for it. So in that way, it's been successful. But pretty much, yes, Prop 215 as a business model and as a legal model is just complete crap at this point in time. I mean, it's just that's how it is. I mean, it's not. I'm not talking crap about it, really. It's just the fact of the matter, man.
Mm-hmm.
And really, statewide, regulations is what needs to happen. You need to do away with this nonprofit model. That's one of the biggest issues with this whole thing. And regulate it statewide, and then legalize next year. Just pass something that legalizes marijuana in your damn state, please.
2016, right?
If we here in Colorado can get through the process, and people can, I mean, people say that
much
it's
smaller
horrible.
here, much smaller here, easier to manipulate the crowds.
If we can get through this process, where people said that regulation was going to ruin what we have here, regulation is going to be the downfall, that we did it horribly, that Amendment 64 was ridiculous, that it wasn't a very well-written piece. I mean, I completely... We've bitched about a lot of things when it comes down to it. Number one, the DUID bill had nothing to do with... Well, I mean, I guess you could say it had something to do with Amendment 64, because that's the reason why it got pushed through heavily. But the DUID bill really had nothing to do... It wasn't even part of the whole regulation bill.
Right, it was
its own separate thing.
Big FU to us.
Yeah, that's what it was. It's a whole separate thing. Other than that, I mean, really the only thing that Amendment 64 screwed us on, I would say, is maybe taxes.
What are we up to for taxes?
I mean, everything else is still a product of reefer madness.
25%.
You can't sit here and say that, look, just because we legalize, that everybody was going to switch over and say, oh, weed is great, and not be some reefer idiot, and play into the reefer madness.
What are we up to for tax, by the way?
We already talked about it. Voters going to be voting on in November a 10 and 15% tax.
Okay, 25 total.
Plus local and state.
Ooh.
Which adds about 9-10% to the shiz.
So you're looking at about 34-35% tax.
Pretty much between 30 and 35%.
It's about a third.
But after after the price of cannabis falls, I really think the long run it sucks that tax. If the tax were lower, we would be paying less when the price of cannabis falls. But either way, I think it's going to fall so low for a lot of people here in Colorado, in your dispensaries that you're going to enjoy going to. That after a minute, I don't think that people are going to really pay attention to that tax too much at all, and probably won't have a lot. I don't think that high tax is going to have a lasting effect on how people consume cannabis here in Colorado. I really don't.
To budget more.
I just think that the price eventually is going to fall that much that it's just not going to. It's going to be like, it's less than I paid before it was legal. But at first, not so much. At first, you're going to see a skyrocket in prices. And I would not be surprised if you're paying $80, $90 a gram for good extract shatter. There'd probably be some people out there trying to get $80, $90 a gram for their wax. And I don't know, plus tax.
No, that would be with tax.
No, I'm plus tax, dude. $70, $80, $90 for the product, and then add tax on top of that.
I don't see how you're justifying this.
Well, what do you? I'm justifying it because if you go back at the point where at its most expensive, if you go back at the most expensive point,
$80 for earwax,
$80, $90 for honey oil.
Wax.
This is pre-shatter, by the way.
Yes.
Shatter didn't necessarily. I mean, people were doing extracts that looked.
No shatter in dispensaries.
There wasn't shatter in dispensaries, no. Oil was the best that you could get. The oil that was either the clear honey or amber. And that shit was like $80, $90 a gram.
So it wasn't earwax.
And that's without tax, dude. So take it now. If you recreational is probably going to be a good 10% higher.
I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think there's going to be $90 of recreational crap wax.
Well, maybe not wax, but shatter and shit like that, plus tax. I'd say you're easily looking at 10-15% higher prices here come January. Easily looking at that.
That doesn't make it $90 a gram.
No, I'm not. But I'm saying immediate increases, and then once the supply dwindles, I mean, you could be seeing some dispensaries trying to get rid of their shit for like $70, $80, $90 plus tax.
Yeah, that might happen. It may.
That's just nuts, man.
You're
You know what though? But I don't see flour going up as much as the concentrates.
Why
I don't
not?
see the inflation going up as much as it does because
You got Blue Mountain selling $300 ounces.
Because the only reason why I see flour becoming a hard thing to find because people are blasting the shiz out of it. And going to be buying more and more nug runs for these extracts. And flour, dude, I see flour's prices just, I mean, I see them going up and
Nothing but dropping. Nothing
but
but
I see
getting
flour's
lower.
prices eventually just being
Eventually,
ridiculous.
maybe, but right now they're continuing to drop $120 ounces all day over.
Yeah, but once
lots of
legalization goes
dispensaries.
through,
That's
once legalization
then.
goes through, I think the flour prices are going to go back up again. There's going to be specialty markets for flour. There's going to be the flour that people just don't give a shiz about, that normal, regular, everyday flour. Then there's going to be that top shelf flour that people have, and then there's going to be the flour that people are harvesting for just run, to blast, which is becoming more and more of a portion of people's supply at this point in time. I'm hearing more and more people talk about how they're blasting nug run. In fact, Top Shelf Extracts the other day was talking about, yesterday posted something up about how, here, give us your nug run. Like, let us run your nug. So obviously this is becoming more and more of even a business practice to push and try and get to.
Only because people want it.
Yeah, but in that way, I see it as different levels and different pricing of flowers. So your top shelf flower that's sold in stores, that good A1 quality flower, that's gonna rise. I see those prices going up and up and up. Now your flower, your everyday normal flower that people are just buying average quality, or the flower that's being used to blast. That flour is going to go down. That price is going to be like trim.
People don't blast specific flowers. They'll blast anything.
No, but I see that happening, though. There's dispensaries that are going to be opening up. There's specifically concentrate dispensaries, specific water hash, ice wax, shatter wax. I mean, they're going to specialize in just having extracts. Places like this and extract artists that make their extracts are gonna be looking for lower priced trim, lower priced bud. I know they always are, but the bud is coming more and more into the picture of being able to run with it. Before, extract artists, unless you owned a dispensary and were giving your bud, extract artists are very rarely, unless it's private reserve, getting bud supply to run with. You would agree, correct?
Yeah, to a point.
It's happening more and more now. But that's what I was saying, is those prices that bud needs to go down. It can't be the same price as your top shelf bud that's being sold. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, the market won't sustain that. I'm trying to have a conversation with you here about the economics of how weed is going to be playing out here. Engross me, my friend.
Yes.
I keep forgetting I'm leaving the camera on you.
Yes.
So ultimately, weed prices, flower prices, I don't think are to be. I think that what you're going to have to worry about is the extract.
For a minute, just like it was a year ago, when it started going down.
The thing is, though, can you see there being a better supply, though, than there was before, but still being those high prices because of how much tourism comes in the state?
How can it get better?
Like, even if there's a market, even if there is supply, and you have shatter, you have wax, I still see prices skyrocketing. Just because some dispensaries are going to specialize in just ripping off the tourists.
Sure. Well, there's places that specialize in ripping off the locals, too. Tonight.
A key panel of Senate lawmakers advanced legislation Wednesday in Illinois that would allow patients with certain illnesses to use marijuana to ease their symptoms. The measure was approved in a 10-5 vote by the Senate Executive Committee despite concerns by law enforcement officials that the bill would not prevent medical marijuana card holders from driving while under the influence. God, this is such a huge deal right now. Either people are freaking out about it big time, or they're like, there's no science, and really there's not enough numbers to say that people under the influence of marijuana are hurting anybody. The proposal has already passed the House. Governor Pat Quinn has said he is open-minded to the legislation but must give the matter further review. We've talked about Illinois quite a bit this year and in the past about their medical marijuana and how much they've tried to get it through year after year after year, but it's usually the governor or some stupid political situation that stops it. Under the bill, a 4-year pilot program would be established to allow doctors to prescribe patients no more than 2.5 ounces of marijuana over 2 weeks. Patients would have to buy from one of the 60 dispensaries across the state and could not grow their own. Sponsoring Senator Bill Hayne said the rules were toughest in the nation. A former state attorney, Hayne, promised the bill is not an opening to legalization of recreational pot use. Opponents say they acknowledge the relief marijuana could provide, but questioned unintended consequences. The Illinois Chief of Police Association and the Illinois Sheriff's Association sent a letter to the governor and lawmakers warning the proposal would create a public safety nightmare because cardholders could take a toke, then take the wheel. Dear God, this is what they're going to use now. They argue that... Damn it. You know what? They're going to use that like crazy. That's going to get built into so many damn bills now. And then we have sections of our movement that think it should be built into the bills.
I don't think it's us.
It is part of us. I mean, it's not necessarily Marijuana Policy Project's fault, but I mean, it's drawn to the attention here lately that Marijuana Policy Project's bills that they've supported, a lot of them, including, you know, up there in Washington, have included nanogram limits, dude. But they've put them in there because, I mean, it's been something of a concern for law enforcement and the public. And they think that it sells better. But it sells us out is what it does. They argue legislation should include blood and urine testing to allow police to determine whether a cardholder had marijuana in their system while driving. Supporters of the legislation contend laws already exist to prosecute anyone who drives under the influence of marijuana, while noting that there is no standard to determine a driver's level of impairment. Exactly. Already laws in place to prosecute anyone who drives under the influence of marijuana, but there's no standard to determine level of impairment or if that person is impaired at 5 nanograms, 10 nanograms, 15 nanograms, 2 nanograms.
No nanograms.
That's what I said earlier. It doesn't really work that way. If no nanograms, then no influential marijuana is in your system. Damn that influential marijuana.
It's the exit drug.
Shame on that influential marijuana. State finalizes medical regulations, but dispensaries likely won't open in Massachusetts this year.
Boo.
Although Massachusetts public health officials approved regulations for the use of medical marijuana Wednesday, effectively allowing the voter-approved law to finally take effect, it may take until next year before many towns see a dispensary. In November, Massachusetts voters legalized marijuana for medical conditions. The Department of Public Health approved regulations to govern 35 dispensaries to be licensed around the state and allow patients with cancer, Parkinson's, or other debilitating conditions determined by a doctor to receive medical marijuana. Under the rules, patients approved for medical marijuana can receive up to 10 ounces as a 60-day supply, though some of the... Thank you for actually getting interested into something.
Well,
now that
I
it has
was
to do
just
with
helping your stuttering dead air spot there.
Now that it has something to do with something you're interested in, you finally are
well, I just
on
happened
board.
to know that, yeah. Yes, that's how I work.
The new rules officially go into effect on May 24th, but Dr. Lawrence Smith, interim commissioner with the Department of Public Health, said it was likely that the first dispensaries would not begin operating before the end of the year. While Attorney General Martha Coakley has ruled the towns cannot explicitly bar medical marijuana treatment centers from being established within their borders, they can impose zoning restrictions on the dispensaries, which may create obstacles for operators looking to establish a facility. Many area towns have been permitted to put in place moratoriums, delaying any dispensary from being established in a community within the next year. Towns including Framingham, Natick, Hopkinton, Hudson, and Medway
Hopkinton, yes,
have all approved moratoriums until next year. Marlborough,
like the cigarette.
Marlborough,
It's spelled differently.
is still considering a moratorium at the request of City Council.
Well, Marlborough's up by Worcester. It's a gateway to Worcester from the east.
The moratorium is really to buy us some time to consider this in a thoughtful fashion. So yeah, next year you ain't gonna see dispensaries. Other towns have taken the route of putting zoning restrictions on where the dispensaries can be placed, including Franklin, Westboro, and Milford. In Milford's case, officials have been friendly towards the idea of a dispensary and were simply looking at where, realistically, one of the facilities could fit. The people in the state have spoken, and we will be ready for them, said Milford Health Officer Paul.
It's pronounced Milford.
Muzzichuli.
Milford. Say it.
Whatever.
Milford.
There you go.
Like you say MILF, and you say id.
Milford.
Exactly, Milford, Mass.
While the reality of a dispensary in local towns may be long way off, the regulations do allow for certain patients to grow their own supply of marijuana in the interim. Interim weed is always great. Do you like interim weed?
So do you like mids?
No, I don't like mids.
Oh.
That interim weed may be better weed. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I'd have to see it.
Whoa.
With that white time sour flow, I'd have to see it in person. It looks good in pictures.
Have you seen these? Have you seen these?
Can't see them
Do
still.
they carry them over there?
Haven't seen them in the shops yet.
Huh. Those are pretty cool.
Well,
that looks pretty sweet.
They used to be black when they first came out, the pills. You saw those.
Yeah, but those didn't look too attractive.
Nope, with the pink.
I suspect that this is probably the work of D-Money over there.
Yep.
100 milligram hash oil pills, decarboxylated, pre-activated. Dude, I want these.
I bet you do.
Make sure you check out our sponsors on the John Doe Radio Show. Make sure that you holler at and support the people that support us, because we definitely appreciate them. Element 420 was supposed to be in house today, but we're going to reschedule one for next week. Alex and the dudes over at Evo Lab and Element 420. ElementFour20.com. Check them out. ElementFour20.com. Also, check out our friends over at Compassionate Pain Management. For some reason, I was thinking it was
Lakewood, Louisville. Hey now.
CompassionatePM.com is the website. You can go check those guys out. CompassionatePM.com. Big thanks to those guys for supporting us. They love us long time.
Hold on, Roy. I need to. Oh no, I can't.
They love us long time over there.
Roy's asking if I'm bored as fruit today in the chat room.
Why don't you get some actual, emotion into your thing and act like you're not bored?
Well, this is just how I am.
There's Smelly at BHO.
Yeah, Smelly is a strain as well. Obviously.
Oh, jeez. You can actually give yourself some emotion and some actual get into it.
Yeah. That was my happy noise. Did you like that? Woo! I'm tired. It's just a little shocking sometimes when you piss off a listener, and I'm trying to baby step today.
I knew I should have said it.
No, it's great. I needed to hear it, dude. If you didn't tell me, for real.
I knew I should have said something to you.
No,
I knew you were going to think about it and just overthink it.
Well, I'm just gonna go dab, and I'll feel better.
No, you don't get the dab, dude. Here, get me up a dab.
There's no way to.
We don't have a heating element in here. We don't have a heating element in here.
No torch.
You crack me up, dude. What do you have today, as far as oil?
Oh, dude. Don't always go for the top shelf, is what I'm gonna say, because I got a little burnt out on the top shelf, and I went back a little bit.
Wait, you got burned out on the top shelf? You stopped buying top shelf, and then you went back to it recently.
The top shelf at Pink House. They have 4 or 5 different levels of oils over there.
It's your job to kind of like get Pink House now as a sponsor, so you know talk about them so much.
Well, all right. I don't know how to go about that, but I'll figure it out. Yeah. So then we got some of this.
You got to go to the Church of Dab.
This is Juliet. We're smoking.
Juliet. I don't mind Juliet. That's a good strain.
And we smoked some of that yesterday, and actually went back after the show and got more, just because it was throttling me like nothing has in a minute.
You went back and bought more?
The last of it, yeah, the last gram.
You're like, this is so awesome, I'm going to go get more.
And I never do that, but it did it.
Really? Well, dude, I can't wait to have like 50 different flavors sitting in front of me.
When is that going to be?
I don't know, someday. Someday soon, I hope. I want to be making Earl, dude. I want to be making Earl.
And?
Growing and all kinds of other awesome stuff.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you're a young guy. You have plenty of time.
Someday, hopefully, I'll be doing that. Someday, hopefully, they don't outlaw me from getting a badge soon.
They'll just make it totally against the law for you to get a badge. Not just impossible, but against the law.
Specifically me.
Yes.
Like, says Tim Martin in there. That would suck, wouldn't it?
Well, yeah, for you.
That would suck for everybody around me.
Well, yes, you'd be a little bitch about it for sure. And, by the way, I got a message from someone who says that a Fabergé egg is actually a bong and not a rig.
No.
Yes, I did. You can't say I did not get that message.
I'm not saying you didn't get the message.
What are you saying?
I'm disagreeing.
Okay, well, be more specific. You disagree with that message.
It can be a bong or a rig.
According
it depends
to,
on what the hell
it
it
comes
is.
with a female fitting that takes a male fitting, like a slide, not a dome. You would have to put a converter on there.
Yeah, technically what makes things a rig is a direct inject, and then what makes something a bong is that it's a flower piece, and usually bigger. Bongs usually have more.
But so yeah, if it has a flower piece on it, that means it's a bong, like a Fabergé egg.
That's generally the rule, but if you're using it as a rig, it's a rig, all right? You got your rig? Yeah, I got my rig. Your rig means that you have an adapter with this situation.
Mine doesn't. I just have a nail.
Well, I have an adapter.
How's your?
I can adapt any rig to turning. I can adapt any bong to turn into a rig.
You can
okay,
turn
here's the deal.
Bong
all right,
into
here's
a
the
rig.
deal. Okay,
Here's
it
the
can
deal.
be a bong.
Yep.
Okay, all bongs are bongs.
All bongs are bongs. Yes.
And all bongs can turn into a rig.
But it's
a bong is a bong all the time, but not always a rig.
It's a bong that you're just smoking oil through with a converter.
A bong is a bong all the time, but is not always a rig.
This is a rig because it has a male piece coming off of it that you can put a nail and a dome on.
This is a rig.
Yep. That's not a bong.
The Mini Hitman is a rig, for sure.
Yes.
Number one, because it is a direct inject.
Phase too small.
It is a direct inject. And, yeah, it's too small.
So, that would make the Fabergé egg by Mothership Glass a bong.
But if it's acting as a rig, it is a rig.
What? It would be a bong that you could smoke oil through because there's a converter on it and a nail and a dome. Whereas this is just a rig.
But see, as soon as you put the conversion on the bong,
Yep.
it is a rig.
It's a bong that you can smoke oil through.
No, then that becomes, in definition, a rig.
Kinda.
No, not kind of. A rig can be a rig without being a rig, dude. It doesn't have to
you're saying
it doesn't specifically have to be made to be a rig.
How can I even say this?
Rigs.
A female can take a strap-on dildo
John,
and put it on, and she's a man.
Why do you have to put it this way?
I didn't know. how
No,
to
because that's not how it works. Okay, a rig is just because something.
Bongs are girls, rigs are boys. But you can't put a rig in a bong.
A rig is not like you. A bong can be a rig.
If
but
you put a converter in it.
Specific rigs that are okay. A rig specifically made to be a rig is a rig all the time, and never a bong. A bong is a bong until you make it a rig.
Well, I got a rig that I could put a slide on that had a push that I could smoke weed through. So you can make a rig a bong.
Well, I mean, yeah, you can.
I have one.
Yeah, you are right. And there's inverted bowls.
And that's all it is a rig that you're smoking weed through.
I mean, but we used to live in a time where rigs were not really made.
We don't anymore.
So now, technically, you can have it made specifically to be a rig and not a bong, but if it converts, it is a rig. Now, you cannot argue that. Okay? Period.
I'm arguing with it.
What you're arguing is that a bong can never be a rig.
There's a glass blower friend of mine in the chat room. My buddy Roy is telling me he's like, Tim's wrong. Stand your ground, bike.
I am not wrong, dude.
This guy's a little bit older than you. He's been blowing glass for a minute.
I don't care.
It's his word against yours. I got to go with Roy.
No, it's you.
He's also working on a JDR rig for us.
There is no possible. That's pretty cool.
Yes.
You're trying to say that a bong
or a bubbler,
is just a cross-dresser when it acts as a rig. And I don't think that that's true. No.
Well, you're seeing that.
It turns into a rig the second that you turn it into a oil piece.
What you're saying, unfortunately, I don't know if you see this, is that you're saying that there's something wrong with being a cross-dresser.
No, I'm not saying. You're
then
saying there's something being wrong with...
Well, I'm not. I'm just saying a spade is a spade, and a rig with an attachment that you can smoke weed out of is a bong.
Okay, that's true there.
And then a bong that you can put an attachment and smoke oil out of is a bong.
It's a bong until you put it. It's okay. It's a rig bong.
I'm just
a bong rig.
A brig.
It's a bong as you're using it for a bong, but it's a rig as you start to use it for oil. God, why
I would
are we arguing
never
about
because
this?
here's the point. Because I don't have any rigs or bongs that I smoke both out of. I only smoke weed through my bong, and I only smoke oil through my rig.
Yeah, but I have pieces that were made to be flower pieces that were bongs that I've only used as a rig.
You have pieces that were made to be used as flower pieces, and you use it as a rig with an attachment.
My ratchet to double turbine Hitman is a flower piece.
Did
Takes
you smoke
a slide.
oil
It
out
is
of?
like 18 inches tall.
Yeah, big old bong.
18 inches tall, and is only been used to smoke oil.
Yeah, you just
converted.
You got a
nail.
cross dresser on your hands. And
No,
you're a little
it is
uncomfortable with it.
It's a rig. If you're traveling around, if somebody goes, okay, here's what.
Here we are with traveling.
Here's what makes this situation. All right, I'm gonna use this.
Nothing wrong with smoking.
If you go to somebody's house or you travel somewhere, if you come here and I'm like, okay, do you have your rig with you?
No, I have my bong with an adapter.
A bong with the adapter combined equals rig. You can't argue that. Like, okay, dude, do you got your rig with you? You whip out a piece and it has something to smoke oil with. It is a rig. An apparatus used to smoke oil with.
Doesn't matter what size it is. Haggis has a 14-inch Hitman direct inject turbine with a male fitting. And he's saying it's a bong.
Your Hitman turbine is direct inject?
I think the size has something to do with it.
No, usually rigs are not that big. Usually rigs are not as big as a bong.
Except that's Sovereignty Glass giant bong I hit that Josh from TC Labs had with the inverted forearm perk. Hit just like a rig, but it was huge. It was good size.
Generally, rigs are not very big. Generally rigs are smaller than a bong.
Yeah,
but the point is, the bottom line, and where we're not going to argue about
fitting in size, it's a fine line.
Is if you're smoking roll out of it, it's a rig.
Maybe perk comes into it as well.
Perks don't have anything to do with it.
Oh, okay. That's why I said maybe they do.
They don't.
Bong is a bong and a rig is a rig.
If a perk has something to do with the definition of a rig and a bong, then explain that part of it.
That's why I said maybe it does. I don't know. And then
does
for
it?
the third time, I just pointed out there was a maybe in there. So go F yourself if you think I'm trying to backpedal, because I'm not.
I don't think you're trying to backpedal. I was just trying to use an example of how a perk would change the definition.
Roy is now saying no water is really necessary as you are smoking no plant matter, hence why rig came into use.
Say that again?
No water is really necessary as you are smoking no plant material, hence why rig came into use.
But you don't have to have water while smoking flower either.
Well, you kind of do in a bong. It's like smoking a steamroller. No one smokes steamrollers anymore because you only need to smoke a steamroller once to find out that it sucks and it's harsh.
I don't mind smoking a steamroller.
And then the palm of your hand smells like weed and you're coughing your ass off.
Steamrollers are not that bad. Don't throw steamrollers under the bus.
I don't like steamrollers, and anyone who smokes steamrollers can jump under the bus with a steamroller I just threw underneath the bus because steamrollers suck.
They're not that bad, dude. Really not. All right.
Oh, well, hold on. Ryan eats.
This is by far the smallest rig that I've had.
As someone who has worked in a head shop, a rig is a small device dedicated to hash smoking and the efficiency of its design.
I agree. But that doesn't mean that a bong can't become a rig.
No, a bong can be a rig, but it's just a bong that you're smoking oil with.
That's called a... All right. I'm still calling it a rig.
I'm just going to call you out every time.
Dude, anything you're smoking oil out of the time is a rig. Period, end of story. Stop arguing. There's no
Or it's a
sense
bong
about
with
it.
a
I'm not
rig
going to argue with
attachment.
you about it anymore. Bastard.
Nice rig.
This is a rig.
That's why I said nice rig.
You know what's awesome about this one, too? This little mini Hitman? The claim is so easy to get out of it.
Spot on, Roy.
The claim is so damn easy to get out of it. I still haven't got the top off either.
You get a half ounce in there.
Nah.
Looks like scrambled eggs.
I've smoked quite a bit of it. Why are you eating something? I can hear it in my earphones.
Take your earphones out.
Slobbing.
God, so rude, dude.
Well, maybe people actually listening to the show don't want to hear you
Maybe it's part.
chomp
Maybe
your
it's
damn-
part of the show.
No, eliminate it from part of the show.
It's part of the show. Hearing me chew it Tums.
Eliminate it. I don't have too much more news today.
Well, let's go back to talking about a bong being a rig then.
No, it's quite all right. I'm done talking about that.
Nothing further to say, Your Honor.
We were telling you about the marijuana breathalyzer test. William Breathes wrote about it in
West Road to Toke the Town.
In Toke the Town, which it was originally in LA Weekly. One of the problems
Same thing
with
as the Westward.
One of the problems with medical marijuana, at least from a cop's perspective, is that pot is hard to detect in the field, and many drivers could be getting away with DUI because they're high, not drunk. The problem inspired one California legislator to propose a law that would trigger a DUI case for anyone whose blood test shows even a trace of cannabis in their system. That could be problematic if you're a medical patient who toked yesterday but was stopped by police today. Even worse, a pot breathalyzer may be on the horizon. Researchers in Sweden recently discovered that marijuana and even cocaine and meth could be detected by a roadside breathalyzer test. Sort of. Not just any breathalyzer either.
Is that meth on your breath, or did you just chug some Ogilvy home perm?
The academics from the Karolinska Institute in Stockholm used a commercially available breath sample called Sense Abuse and successfully ID'd 12 substances on the breath of some of the 40 volunteers they examined. Whoa. The patients had taken their favorite drugs within the past 24 hours.
Their favorite drugs.
In the past 24 hours, researchers said the filters from the tests were collected and analyzed later, and boom, they know what you did last night. Since the detection wasn't done in the field, it appears to have taken further analysis. An instant pot detector seems way off. Still, this should make you potheads prepare for the day when a cop says blow and you can know you're not drunk.
And you say spit or swallow.
Of course, there is that other age-old cannabis detector available to any officer, their nose. That's not going to fly. Not going to fly.
Nah.
Do. It seems kind of like things are boring now after the April wound down.
Well, I'm not bored. Are you bored? If you're bored, you're boring, dude. Maybe it's your tone of voice.
No,
Maybe
I know
should
when
put
you're
some-
bored. You get bored like every freaking day, and I have to look over at you yawning. I'm talking about the news.
I understand it's hard to
events going
entertain
on
me,
have.
and I don't expect
It
you
is
to
difficult.
be. I don't expect you to be able to.
It is difficult to entertain you.
But I also
You have like a 2-second attention span.
Well, if it's boring, then I do. Yes.
No, period. Anything you really have a 2-second attention span with.
Uh huh.
You are. You really are like a child.
I know. Well, we've covered this many, many times.
By the way, last night you referred to my broadcasting degree, so that's now 7 grams.
I did. When did I do that?
Last night, we were talking, and you posted up online the Connecticut School of Broadcasting.
I put the link up, but I didn't say it out loud.
That still counts.
Since when? Show me the rules and regulations on that one.
I already said
Put on a skirt.
Anytime you bring up me in school
Put up a
broadcasting,
skirt.
then,
And dance in
qualifies.
7-Eleven to the song.
The news has gotten quite, has fallen off quite a bit when it comes down to cannabis.
You're welcome.
News and big stories. April's a massive month, obviously, for cannabis. Following it up in May. Yo, actually, go see if Warren is available right now.
Warren, are you available right now?
For like 10 minutes. See if he read through any of those sentencing guidelines or anything. Because I don't understand a damn bit of it. It's actually a great idea. But yeah, the news has definitely fallen off quite a bit here over the past week or so. Make sure you check out tokeofthetown.com if you'd like to keep up on some of the more important news information that we cover here on the JDR and some of the more important information that's really for anybody in our industry. Also, marijuana, just Google that in Google News. Always something interesting to find out. All right. While they're finding out if Warren can come talk to us, see if I got another story here to talk about. It's going to be interesting to see how the drug sentencing plays out here over the next couple of years, because I know we just redid all of our sentencing like 2 years ago. As I mentioned, the drug felony issues. Is he coming? He's on the phone. Ah, dang. Maybe we'll just call it a day because it is Friday. We got like 10 minutes left in the show. I really don't have anything else to cover.
F it.
The only thing else I have to think about right now is those drug sentencing guidelines. So I'll go talk to him about that, and then on Monday, I'll review what it means. What's concerning is that marijuana doesn't have a series of sentencing after legalization as it did before. Because if we went and did criminalized, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 8, 12 ounces of marijuana, and it goes back and you can get a felony now again for that, that's a problem.
I have a problem with that.
What else are you doing this weekend?
This weekend I'm going to be doing cleaning and organizing and looking for a house.
You're going to clean and organize your house?
And look for a house.
And look for a house? Oh, you're looking for a house?
For a house.
What brought that idea up?
The idea of having more room.
How come you just thinking about this now?
I haven't just been thinking about this now. I'm just speaking about this now because you prompted me.
How long have you been looking for a place?
About 2 days now.
How long have you wanted to move into a house? Seriously.
2 years.
2 years?
On the back burner.
That's a long time, dude.
Busy 2 years, dude.
So you're in a good spot then. You're feeling like you're ready to move on to the house then, huh?
I feel like I need some more room.
All right, that's going to do it for today. Next week, we'll get Alex from Element 420 in here and talk about CO2 extracts.
He's going to be here Monday.
He'll be here Monday?
And when we get back Monday...
Oh, hey, Warren's here.
Warren's here.
I was just about ready to end the show. Okay. So I don't have anything else to talk about, really.
No problem.
But did you read over any of that sensing stuff?
Yeah, it's painful.
Dude, it looks insane, man. I can't even make sense of any of it.
Well, I mean, the basic gist of the sentencing stuff is that it gives new opportunities for the equivalent of deferred judgment, deferred sentences to allegedly worse crimes than we've had access to DJs, DSs for in the past. Now, granted, you know, you're going to have to be good for the terms and conditions of your deferred judgment, deferred sentence in order to get your record cleaned up, and you're going to have to do a bunch of other stuff. You know, you're going to have to
that's understandable.
work with the system.
What about the marijuana parts, though? Did you read over those?
Yeah, it just, do you have in the first couple pages, it just kind of details out the maximum weight that makes you eligible for.
There's like 3 or 4 different, because we were reading through it, and there's like 3 or 4 different parts of it. It's like it talks about 4 ounces or more being a felony, 6 ounces or more, 2 ounces or less being petty offense. There's like 3 or 4 different sections to it.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It's very weird.
I know you haven't had a huge chance to look at it or anything.
Well,
so.
yeah, and I mean, it's just going to break down to a million categories, kind of like federal sentencing guidelines do. I mean, but it just, I mean, the overall moral of the story is it opens up the DJs to people who used to not get them. So you end up with a clean record.
Which is cool, but there's still like, I don't understand any of it. Like, there's too many different, it's crazy. So there's
Wait 2 months, and one of these attorneys will have a little chart.
I know, yeah. That's what I'm kind of looking at from you right now. It's like, what is it?
I'll have a little chart out in no time.
What is exactly a felony now for marijuana? Because
this didn't change what is and what isn't. It just makes you eligible for this new form of deferred judgment sentence.
So it doesn't change. It didn't change a felony.
No, that didn't seem to change like any of the actual categories of what is what. It more listing how you qualify for this new thing, which will allow you to, in the end,
I get
end up with a clean record.
So I see. That's, God, what a pain in the ass, man. Why don't we just end the drug war?
There's too much money in it.
So now we have like DMs, or no, wait. Yeah, DMs and DFs for MFers. All right, that's all I had.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you more about it. You gonna have a good weekend? What, are you chilling this weekend? What are you doing?
Nothing big. Cool. Parents still in town, so all that fun stuff. And Mother's Day on Sunday.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it is Mother's Day.
Get your flowers early.
I forgot about Mother's Day. WarrenEdson.com, ladies and gentlemen, if you need criminal defense, family, law, cannabis, all that good stuff. Until we meet again on Monday, I'm John Doe. Have yourselves a fantastic weekend. Smoke too much.
Be safe.
Be safe. See ya.
Informational and entertainment purposes only. We specifically include responsible marijuana reform. Rights. Listening to anyone but your fathers is stupid. We accept no responsibility for your actions or misrepresentations, and we do not fully endorse the use of illegal drugs. You are ultimately responsible for yourself.
My.